The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. At that time, Jesus withdrew to the region of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, a Canaanite woman of that district came and called out, "Have pity on me, Lord, Son of David. My daughter is tormented by a demon." But Jesus did not say a word in answer to her. Jesus' disciples came and asked him, "Send her away, for she keeps calling out after us." He said in reply, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." But the woman came and did Jesus homage, saying, "Lord, help me." He said in reply, "It is not right to take the food of the children and throw it to the dogs." She said, "Please, Lord, for even the dogs eat the scraps that fall from the table of their masters." Jesus said to her in reply, "O woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish." And the woman's daughter was healed from that hour. The Gospel of the Lord.
We would quickly discover that the saints are from many different nationalities, different creeds originally, lots and lots of differences, young and old. It matters not color, matters not where they have come from. What matters is their faith in God. This is a fascinating encounter today between Jesus and this beautiful soul, this Canaanite woman. Keep in mind, God had a plan all the way in the Old Testament, God the Father, and the purpose of Jesus, as was clarified today, was to seek out the lost of those in Israel, the Jewish people, and to bring them back just as he had strived to do, even when they were exiled because of their disobedience, their turning from God. They were exiled for that period of time in Egypt before they were brought back. God so desires for all of us to be willing to open our hearts wide and to be like this Canaanite woman, to call out to the Lord in our need, but to do it with great faith. It's fascinating how Jesus originally tests this woman's faith. Notice the interaction between the two of them. And he says, "But I have come for the lost children." But she comes back demonstrating her faith. She calls him Lord. In that very word itself, the understanding and awareness that Jesus, who he is, was known to this woman. And she was placing her faith in him, even though she was a Canaanite. The Canaanites in Old Testament times, of course, were of the Gentile origin, so they were not of the Jewish faith. But as we know, even in the roster of saints, some Jewish people have come to believe, like Edith Stein, who herself in her discovery of searching for the truth would come to find it in our beloved Catholic faith, the faith that Jesus himself had established, the fulfillment of the Old Testament prophecies, and this Jesus who is Lord. The good news is we don't need to wait until heaven to be able to share in the very sacrifice and celebration that happens and is happening in heaven. For at every Mass, we celebrate the beautiful gift of God's love for us in the Holy Eucharist. And it's in the Holy Eucharist that we gather with the nations of saints who are in heaven. For our beautiful responsorial psalm, O God, let all the nations praise you. People from all nations in heaven, the angels and the saints, share in the very celebration of the Holy Eucharist, the one-time event of Jesus perpetuated throughout time through the holy ordination of priests and bishops. It continues here on earth. So the angels and the saints join us in this celebration, praising God. And we, from different backgrounds, different upbringings, perhaps even different faiths, we come to celebrate and to acknowledge, like the Canaanite woman, who Jesus is. He is Lord. And even in the first reading, we see that beautiful prefiguration where it was prophesied by this prophet Isaiah, who knew that the beautiful plan of God was for my house shall be called a house of prayer for all peoples. Jesus is the fulfillment to bring that about. And we ourselves get to join this very night, every time we celebrate the Holy Eucharist, on the holy mountain of the sacrifice of the Mass on the altar. As we prepare to receive Holy Communion tonight, as we recognize that we join with all nations in God's great desire for all peoples to come to know who Jesus is, may we be inspired by the example not only in the first reading, the prophecy that is fulfilled, not only by the Canaanite woman in the Gospel, but in St. Paul, himself a Jewish person, who in the encounter with Jesus realized that he was Lord, and then prophesies Jesus Christ as King and as Lord. May our celebration of the Eucharist tonight help us to experience the reality of the presence, not only of God himself and his holy word in the Holy Eucharist, God's presence in us as we worship God, but may we also be able to reflect upon the beautiful gift that heaven and earth join together in this one sacrifice of praise to Almighty God, the sacrifice of Jesus in the Paschal mystery, and him giving us his own body and blood.